5 football training habits you need to develop. That's what we're going over coming up next. Really quick, guys, before we get started, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, OneFootball, which you can download for free down below in the description. OneFootball is an incredible app for all football fans that want to keep up to date on the latest results internationally and at club level, keep up with your favorite club, your favorite national team. They also even have video compilations of different things, which I think is actually really cool. One of my favorite features on this app. Again, this app is absolutely free, and it's just a must for any football fanatic that wants to make sure they know what's going on in the world of football. So make sure you give some love to OneFootball by downloading it for free down below in the description. Without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Hi there, welcome to Simply Soccer. I'm Dave. If you're new to this channel where I'm creating videos every single week to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Now, a great way for you to do that is get my free ebook down below, Game Changer. It's over 50 plus pages on just so many drills, information, and training that's gonna help you get to that next level. Now, in this video, we're talking about training habits you need to develop, things you need to bring into your training, maybe do a little more in training in order to get the most out of it so that ultimately you can show up on game day the best player you can possibly be. So let's get into it, starting in reverse order with number 5. So we're gonna get one of the simple ones out of the way, and it's just not training enough. Now, this doesn't just include team training, because your team training is really not up to you how often that is, although what team you're on you do have a little bit of a choice in there, trying to get on better teams that maybe train more. But this is more to do with your individual training. If you are not training individually consistently and you're wondering why you're not getting amazing results or good results or consistent results, well, your problem lies in you're not training enough. If you are under training, you will never achieve your potential as a player, and you will not grow as fast as other players around you who are putting in that additional work. Now, obviously, there's more to just training more to becoming a better player and to taking advantage of your training in the best way possible, but that is the first thing I would have you look at. Are you training individually enough? If that one's been helpful so far, guys, and you're liking this video, hit that like button and we'll move on to number 4. Number 4 involves both individual and team training, and it's not focusing and zoning out of your training. Sometimes players do this in matches. I talk about it all the time, about being hooked into the match, about really being present and in the moment. A lot of players will do this in training where they're turned on, but then they're switched off. They're switched on, then they're switched off. And what you want to get in the habit of doing is staying switched on for as much of the training as you possibly can. This allows you to do what's called deliberate training. This allows you to do what's called flow training, where you're really in the moment, and you will ultimately be a better player through doing this. So just watch out to see, am I hooking out of the match or hooking out of the training, or am I staying hooked in? Am I kind of zoning out, or am I staying hooked in for the most part? And if you're zoning out, just kind of, remind yourself to get back into the flow of your training. This could be individually or in team training. In fact, if it resonates, put in the comments down below, I am focused during my training. Align to that, remind yourself of that, and now we'll get into number 3. Now, number 3 is similar, but a little bit different, and it's going through the motions. Now, this is a little more of a conscious choice where you're going through the motions, you're not giving it your all, and yet you still decide to do that. This is essentially the lazy trainer. Now, there are players that famously don't do as much in training as they do on match day, but this is a very special type of player, and for the most part, not going and really giving your all in training and really doing your best is only gonna hurt your development and hurt you on match day. I'm sure you've heard the saying, the way you train is the way you'll play. And so if you're training in a way that's going through the motions, you're just doing the bare minimum or enough to kind of, just do what you need to do instead of really hooking in again, getting in the flow, working hard, doing everything you need to do to give yourself the edge. Then it's only going to act as a disservice to your game, to your performance moving forward. And so a training habit to really pick up is, again, don't go through the motions. If you recognize you are going through the motions, again, try to switch on, consciously get back into the flow and do your best, because that will help you not only improve as a player more, but it will transfer into match situations as well. Number 2 is simplifying your training. Now again, with team training, you don't get a say in how that's constructed and what happens. Hopefully you're on a team with a good coach who knows how to do that. And again, a lot of team training isn't going to be necessarily individual, although these days a lot of that is incorporated, but a lot of it might be tactics, a lot of it might be different things of that nature. So individual training is really where we want to focus this, and it's simplify your training. You know, you do not need over complex drills. You do not need things where you do a million things at once. You know, there are time-tested drills that will help your game. There are multifaceted drills that will absolutely help your game. You know, if you want to improve a certain area, work on that area. You don't need complex equipment or this complex drill or whatever else. You know, find the simple but effective drills, the simple but effective training, the proven systems, the plan. Another thing is make sure you have a plan for your training. Don't just wing it. You know, you're actually overcomplicating your training if you wing it. When you have a plan, it's very simple. You follow the plan and you adjust accordingly. When you don't have a plan, you kind of go there and wing it. You can't track your progress as well. It's just a mess if you try and do it that way. So keep your training fairly simple but effective. Those are the 2 key words in my eyes. Yes, challenge yourself. Yes, adjust it as needed. But a lot of times your training, especially football specific training, is going to be fairly simple. Last but not least, and this has to do more with individual training, in team training, this kind of should be happening automatically, but in your individual training, make it game-like. You know, you can do certain drills that work just technical on a certain thing, like, again, passing against the wall over and over and over again, which is good to do because it will help you work on that technique. Shooting against a wall, for example. But if you really want to put yourself in situations you'll find yourself in the match, it's going to benefit you even further. So maybe you work on your technique for shooting, for example, against a wall just to get the technique down, but it's not very game-like, is it? So then you'll want to do drills where you're shooting as if an opponent is there, or you're receiving the ball and then quickly getting your shot off, because that's much more game-like. And the more you become comfortable in these situations, the more you'll be able to automatically and instinctively do these things in matches. So make sure you have a healthy dose of match-specific, game-like drills in your training that you will find yourself in matches. And you can make these position-specific as well. For example, if you're a midfielder and you notice a lot of times you'll get the ball in tight space and you'll be pressured, work on drills that help you operate in those situations effectively so you can do them automatically in matches. If you're a winger and a lot of times you need to take someone one-on-one and then cut inside, go to the byline, practice doing that, and then whatever you're going to do next, maybe crossing it, shooting it, passing it. You know, you want to have these game-specific situations in your training. All right, so those are 5 training habits you need to develop that's just going to help you to improve more as a player, and to bring these into your matches so you're performing better in matches. But it all starts with the training. That's going to play such a huge part in how you perform on match day. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.